Hi guys, it's me. I don't know why I feel it necessary to say hi guys, it's April every single time, but at this point it's kind of become tradition and I almost don't even know how to start a video without doing that. Let's see, let's share this on Twitter. Hi Elizabeth, and get it out there. I know things are probably going to be a little bit weird because of daylight savings time. I know it was a struggle and a half for me to actually get up out of bed this morning because no. Let's see, and then I will bring up the chat. There we go. Now I can see all of you guys. Perfect. As you can tell, we're getting back into crystals. I'm probably just going to continue on with the non-rainbowy sides of the crystals just because I want to get this flat out as much done as I can, and then maybe go back with colored pencils and then start doing chunks of the rainbow crystals in different sessions. And I'm not probably just going to be about an hour today just because of everything that is going on right now. But I am in the middle of doing Read-A-Rama, which is why there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. Which means right now I have daily vlogs coming out. So I will still, and if I get any coloring done in there, right now I don't really plan on a lot of that because my life is a little bit being taken over by my friend's upcoming wedding. So, like I said, things are a little crazy right now. But I am going to have a lot of the nakeds in all of my vlogs. If you haven't seen day 1 already, it's up. And Charlotte made her first appearance. Hi, Grace. I am coloring with Copics because Copics are my life. Yeah, right now I have the copper E18 and then the, let's see if I can get there, the R56 current and then the R32 peach. That's what I'm working with today. So I go brown to rusty red to a light peachy color. So yeah. We did finally get my friend's bridal shower done. I don't know if I talked about that because we got moved because of the snow. But we finally got that done. Now we have under 3 weeks until the wedding. So all craziness is about to ensue because this wedding is going to be crazy. I like it, Grace. Yeah. It's kind of the, does it spark joy? If not, send it to a new home and then add the stuff that does spark joy. I'm about to that point with some of my reading books. I've got a couple shelves of books that I'm like, I'm probably not going to read these. Should probably just pass them on, give them a new life, and that will give me shelf space to add more of the books that I'm really excited about. And you know how you go through like fluxes of what you're really passionate about doing. So for a while there, for me, it was coloring. And so I was buying all of the coloring supplies. Well, I think it has swung back into reading for me, but reading graphic novels and manga, because recently I have purchased a good handful of that kind of reading material, and I'm kind of excited about getting into it. Hi, Charlotte. Welcome. I am so glad that you guys are still here, even though theoretically we're an hour earlier than normal. I'm just daylight savings time. I'm always bitter about daylight savings time. Always and forever. But I'll get over it. About the time that we have to change the time again, I'll get used to it. So what is everybody doing? What are you coloring? What are you reading? I'm curious. I have not finished any books for Readorama yet. It has been one of those reading times in my life. Yep, that is exactly it, Grace. Sometimes you have to forget what all of your PIN numbers are and all of your passwords to various different purchasing websites, because it's gonna end poorly for your wallet. Okay, that's nice, Grace. I think I know which coloring book you're talking about. Hi, Naka. Is that how you say it? Do you want to be called Naka or NCY or NYCA? I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry if I just butcher names. A lot of times I just take a guess and I run with it. I find that if you say things with authority, sometimes it just works. But at the same time, I know when people totally misdo my name, I'm kind of like, what? Oh, I like it, Elizabeth. Ah! Well, I guess that makes sense. So if I choose to give you any random nickname, I could just run with it, right? Let's be honest, I'm really bad at giving nicknames. That is not one of the things in my skill set. Granted, now I have the Macarena song stuck in my head. Nice, Grace. You're getting there. You are getting there. Yeah, it's hard to stop getting them once you start getting Copics. The only reason I have stopped is because I literally have no more storage space for them. And so I'm limiting myself via my storage space. But if suddenly my storage space were to be modified, all bets are off. Yeah, because I think I'm sitting at what did I say? Like 220 something?
Something like that.
220 something Copics right now. Ah, thank you. I'm glad you like it. It's one of those pictures that when I'm in the middle of it, it drives me nuts. But when I stop and step back, I'm really, really enjoying where it's going. And I was going to do a coloring supply video, wasn't I? Maybe I should do that soon. Definitely not going to do it this week. Maybe I'll do it the following week. Just so I can show you guys all of what I've got. So, yeah. I'm slowly collecting refills myself. I mean, I don't have a whole ton. We were actually just talking about that before the stream started because I just put one of my new refills away. And then I was just kind of standing there and petting the refill drawer because that's what I do with my life. So I only have about 20 some refills at this point. And some of them I bought refills because I was paranoid about a marker going out. And it hasn't yet, but some of the refills I've actually used. And I will be honest, I am getting to the point of I don't really need more Copics because the colors are so similar to other colors I have. So more at this point, it's the collecting them all mentality, which, like I said, right now, I don't have the storage for it, so I'm okay with not collecting them all. That's the thing about Copics. 368 colors. Some of the colors start looking very, very similar. Exactly. Nope, that's exactly why I have my hex chart too, Grace. It's just one of those things, if I really don't need the rest of the markers so much as it'd be cool to have the rest of the markers. Hence why I'm not going crazy about getting a new storage system, because I really like how I've got all of my stuff stored right now and how they're all laid out. I mean, if anything, if I were to go crazy with my Copics, I think I would start looking for replacements for my chows and getting them in either the original or the sketch bodies, just so I can see the numbers easy in the way I have it stored. But I have been thinking about that because, I mean, I don't necessarily want to go repurchase a marker. Let's be honest. I have been thinking that maybe I can get like a little sticker or something and stick it to the end of that cap and write the number on it. Because that's the only thing I miss about these chows. Oh yeah, we heard birds outside our window this morning too, and it was glorious. And then I had a really this is kind of funny. So I'm down in my basement, right? And the time changed, so the sunlight is at a slightly different angle than normal. So I came down and I set everything up, and then I had this like streak of sun right here on the picture. I'm like, oh no. So it's from this like little tiny window that is coming through over there. So I took the biggest book I had and I put it over, and then I slowly started backing up, trying to figure out where exactly the sun streak was coming from. And so now I just have a giant book sitting up on the window ledge so that I don't have a sun streak across my page, which now that I have the lights and everything set up as well, I'm pretty sure my one light box would have blocked that sun streak. So I didn't necessarily have to go through all of that work of trying to figure out where that sun streak was coming from. I just like to make my life complicated. So I did that this morning. My main goal today is to get this castle filled in with the browns and the pinks, which I think is doable. Because we're almost finished as is. Okay, I want to know how many of you guys color in their sleep, like dream about coloring. Because there was one point, especially when I was coloring a ton of pictures, where I would go to sleep picking colors and trying to decide what I was going to color next. And then I would dream about coloring those things. Whew. Tea time. Like coloring as in my coloring career kind of thing, when I started coloring books kind of deal. Because, oh my gosh, that was about 2 years ago now. Because I no, it's but 2 years now. Because I live streamed coloring all last year, and we're about, let's see, 3 months into this year. And then I probably started coloring about October the year before. August year before? I don't know, somewhere around there. So about 2 years. To be fair, I do have a degree in graphic design. So all of the color theory is there, and I've had to do this kind of coloring on the computer before and figure out how to, it's not necessarily what I wanted to do, but I'll just run with it. So the background theory was already in my head. It was just a matter of running with it, which is why I gravitated to markers first, because to me, the markers feel more like that graphic work that I'm used to. And I'm still playing around with color pencils and getting a feel for how I want to work with those. Okay, well, I do have a surprise coming my way that I'm really excited to show all of you guys. I think it should be arriving sometime this week. And so I'm gonna have to probably put this aside for a little while to dive into that one, because I made some promises about that one that I would show that one off to you guys and maybe color in a page for you, do a little review. So maybe there'll be some people-y, fairy ones in that one. Just hint, hint, nudge, nudge, because it is more on the fantasy realm. So that might be coming. Hi, Sky. I didn't see you come in. Welcome. Yeah, it always makes me super excited when people start contacting me about little projects. I like doing projects. And so that should be coming soon, which means maybe I won't get my coloring supply video up when I expected, because I think that video needs to come up before the 20th. But yes, something is coming my way and therefore your way, and I'm excited about it. So yes, I do have so I've got that coloring surprise coming my way, and I also have a reading surprise coming my way as well, which involves a giveaway. And this will be the first time I've ever done something like this. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of excited for it. It's an experiment. I'm trying something a little new. And of course you guys can tell me if you're like, what the, why April, why? Yes, coloring surprises are some of my favorite. Won't lie. I like receiving randomness in my P.O. box. It makes me happy. Okay. Oh, that's exciting, Elizabeth. Well, happy early birthday, Grace. I would sing for you, but then you guys would probably all stop watching me. I don't know, there's something about the happy birthday song. I find it one of the hardest songs to sing. Especially trying to keep the tune and the key and everything else. All of the birthday wishes and all of the internet cakes and presents. Do I want to? Yeah, I think I do. I'm going to do it from the bottom and from the top on this side. Oops. Getting my hair everywhere. It's one thing about having hairless animals is you can't blame them for all of the hair that you find everywhere. I'm pretty much the only one in the house you can blame for that. And now that my hair is growing out, it's a bit more of a disaster than it used to be. Which we will see. We will see how long it takes me before I finally break down and be like, just cut it all off. I don't want it anymore. I'm a little bit dramatic if you haven't noticed that. It keeps life interesting, right? I mean, as long as you're dramatic about the unimportant things. I'll tell you another thing that I'm a little bit of a drama queen about right now, and that is the fact that spring just doesn't want to come, and it's driving me nuts. Excuse me. Because I've had this lingering chest cold that is, it won't go away. And I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it to be gone. Well, sometimes that's not a bad gift either, because then you can just turn around and be like, you are supporting my habits, because I can get whatever I want. I do love a good gift card. Speaking of presents and gifts and all of that, how many of you guys are snoopers? And how many of you guys like the surprise? Because I was talking about this with some friends of mine the other day, about how many of us like to find all of the birthday presents or the Christmas presents and, you know, tear the corner back on the wrapping paper to see what was inside. And then how many of us really liked having the surprise. So even if we knew where it was and it wasn't even wrapped, we wouldn't look. Because I won't lie, I am the biggest snooper on the planet. So, and it's not just snooping on it physically. If somehow I have resources to find out other ways, I'll be like, So it takes a lot for me not to pry. Because I just like knowing things, let's be honest. It's not even about the present at that point. It's just like, I need to know. Nice, Grace. Yeah, that's part of the problem, especially when you're ordering everything from the same place. It's like, wait, is this a present for someone? Is this a present for me? Should I not be opening this? I'll open it anyways. Surprise to me. It's like, you can take it back and wrap it for me and I'll reopen it. Yep, that was me too. They had to start putting things in high places. Because that was pretty much the only way I wasn't gonna peek into it, because sometimes it's like, it's too much effort to bring a ladder over here. Now, okay, you can't hide it in a high place. If there's a counter, I can climb on and get to it. It has to have a high place that requires me to grab like a step stool or a ladder, because that's just too much work. But if it's just a countertop to get up onto it and peek, I'll do that in a heartbeat. Because I'm horrible like that. Yeah, my parents had to get a little bit inventive. Well, because at some point it becomes a game. It's like that at Easter too. Because, you know, all the hidden Easter eggs, for me, it was one of those things that I'd want to get up a little extra early before everybody else got up, so I could make the round around the house to check where all of the eggs were before everybody else, so I'd know, and I could run directly to all of those spots. Which is why there was implemented a rule that you only get to look for certain colors of Easter eggs, so it would be fair. Totally my fault. Some of these spots are so stinking tiny. They're almost not worth getting more than one color in them. That's actually what my parents did. It was the money in the Easter eggs, which is why I was always adamant of knowing where all the eggs were, because my grandparents, they loved to buy all of the candy and all the chocolate, so I wasn't worried about getting the candy. The candy already existed. Money, however, money was something that you got every once in a while, and so that was the thing to get. Like I said, that's how my parents got me into reading, is through money. Because every summer it was, okay, we will give you a penny for every page you read. well, okay, I'm going to buy me that pony, gosh dang it. I will be reading all summer. I promise money isn't the most important thing to me. It's just a really great way to motivate me. That, and I have a little bit of a competitive streak, so I always had to outdo my brothers somehow. Because of course you can't let the boys win. That's just silly. Granted, at some point my brothers just really stopped caring. And so it was more of a competition for myself to see if I could outread myself, if that makes sense. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I went super crazy with reading over the summer. Because, I mean, most of the time I was getting $100 or so because I'm like, let's get this thing done. I kind of still wish they paid me for all the pages I read. I mean, I'm seeing my parents in a couple weekends, and I can, bring them my Goodreads stats, and I'd be like, hey mom, guess how many pages I read last year? You owe me some money. She'd probably just roll her eyes at me and walk away. Well, my problem was I had to be pushed because I had trouble reading, and so I didn't want to do it because I am slightly dyslexic. And I'm a little bit of that type A personality, so that I either want to do it to the best of anybody who've ever existed in life, or I don't want to do it at all because I know I can't do it the best. And so that was me with reading. And so it wasn't until I got some really wonderful people who just sat down with me and helped me figure it all out. And then my parents being like, okay, well, we're going to make you a reader. Because they've always read to me and I've always loved stories, but me reading by myself was not ever something that I enjoyed doing because half the time I'd just be making stuff up because I legit didn't know what was going on the page. But once I started picking it up, and my parents are like, yes, we want to encourage this. So let's keep you reading over the summer. And then, of course, depending on what kind of grades I would get into school, that would determine how many books I would get because of my because of my report card. So good grades meant more books. More books meant more reading. More reading meant more money, which in turn let me buy more books. So it is my parents' fault that my book collection behind me is over 1,300 books. It's not my fault, right? Well, I'm glad you could hang out with us for a little while, Grace. Dun, dun, dun. Of course, then it was my love of reading that actually got me addicted to the internet. See how all of this comes full circle? And the reason that my love of reading got me addicted to the internet is because of fan fiction. I'm going to tell you, that stuff is dangerous. And so I'd be on all of the forums and I'd be on all of the fan fiction websites, just reading to my heart's content. Which, once again, look at where I'm at now. I'm live streaming on the internet. Fan fiction? It's just people just writing stories about characters that they really love. So, I mean, I got really deep into like the Sailor Moon fan fiction. So people just writing stories about Sailor Moon. And that's kind of what started me on the internet. And then at some point it switched over to Buffy and the Labyrinth and some SG1. What kind of rabbit holes did I fall down into? Just all kinds of like weird things that I was oddly passionate for. And I'm like, I want more of this story. What have other people come up with? I mean, even Harry Potter has a huge, massive fan writing on the internet. So, yes. See, I'm just shedding everywhere. It's gross. I'm glad you could stop by, Charlotte. I'm glad you like it. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. So at least we got the castle done. Well, it's a combination depending. I mean, there was a lot of people who had like blogs and things that were dedicated to a specific fanfic or story that they were writing. But there's also a lot of websites that were collections that you could go to that had a whole bunch of a specific type of fandom writing. Because I believe that fanfic.net is still up. And it covers a whole ton of different TV shows and books and movies and things like that. So it's a mixed batch of both, and there's some writers. I mean, this is technically how Twilight became a thing. Is it Twilight? No, this is that Twilight inspired what later became 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey was a fanfic writing of Twilight. And then a publisher picked them up, and then she just changed around the names, and it became published work. There's another one that just became a movie that was The After. I think it's called The After. It was actually a One Direction fan fiction, and it became a movie. I mean, it's kind of, it's a little bit sketchy, but yes. And I know there's more stories that this has happened to. There was, like, I don't even remember what story it was anymore or what the author was. But years and years ago, it used to be one of the stories I really, really liked. And it became a published piece. I never really got it because, you know, sometimes after they become published works, I mean, you can still see where the original inspiration came from. It's not quite the same. See, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like they're good pieces of literature by any means, but that is the realm of what fan fiction is. I mean, it's not necessarily that dark all of the time and that interesting and smutty. Sometimes there's just fun little stories, or there's adventure stories and things like that. So yes, the fanfic world is a very interesting world. Because there's some characters that we just don't want to let go of. So we kind of find a way to extend their existence. Oh yeah, she just blew up because of that. Lost track of where I was there for a second. Oh, audiobooks are amazing. Especially all the different ways you can get audiobooks anymore. Because I remember way back in the day when, you know, me and my family would take road trips quite often. And of course, parts of my family lived 20 some hours away. So audiobooks were just something that I've grown up always listening to. But then they were all on cassette tapes that were ridiculously expensive to purchase. Or you'd have to go to the library and get them, and then you couldn't guarantee like all the tapes would actually be in the box or that they actually work. Because I mean, I still have most of the Harry Potters on cassette tape. I mean, except for the last one, which I have on CD. But, you know, just end of tape 1, flip over to start side 2. I love it so much. I still have that like stuck in my brain. But I mean, now that you've got Audible, and then you've got Overdrive, you've got Scribd, you've got several other streaming services, and so, you know, you don't have to sit there and physically take out a tape and flip it over and put it back in. Or put a new CD in. Because, yeah, after tapes, it was the CDs. It's like, end of CD 1, insert CD 2. And that's perfectly fine. I don't think it's bad to have the CDs, but I mean, I usually rent my audiobooks through Overdrive just because I love my library. I'm not a huge People fan, so if there's a way for me to check out books that doesn't necessarily involve people, I'm gonna do it. But that's just me. Yep. Like I said, I use my library like crazy. Have I ever been to the library? Yes, and that was only to get my library card. Have I been back to the library since getting my library card? No, because, like I said, I get all of my books digitally. And that's okay. I think we all like reading different ways. So yes, I love the invention of Overdrive because it makes my library experience so very wonderful. And I don't think I would use my library as much as I do if it didn't exist. Well, see, that's great. I mean, if I had a library that I could probably walk to and maybe hang out at without like seeing a lot of people, I'd be in. But the closest library that we have over here is actually attached to an elementary school. And so I'm not really that excited about going because kids are the future. So they are wonderful things, but I prefer the four-legged kinds of kids. Which is kind of funny because growing up, I went to daycare growing up. And so once a week over the summer, we would go to the library and just hang out at the library for about an hour. And we were able to check out books and all of that. And I remember loving that because, you know, you just kind of find a corner and a book and just scare the teacher because they can't find you. But at this point, it's like if I can do it without necessarily leaving my house, if I can exchange books, and I'm such a mood reader, so if I can change books at that rapid speed, I'm going to take it. Granted, I was also one of the first people. I still have one of the original Kindle devices. Nope, lied, sold that. But when Kindle first became a thing, I was all over that because, like I said, I grew up reading on the internet, so reading digital books did not scare me in the least. I was actually kind of excited about it because I find that I read quicker when it's digital. I don't know why that is. But at the same time, I love holding a physical book in my hand. So at this point, my reading experience has become a mismatch of physical, digital, and audiobook. So I will, sometimes one book I will read 3 different ways at the same time. So I'll flip back and forth. So I will have the audiobook for when I'm commuting. I will have the digital book for when I'm out and about and I want to read, but I'm just sitting, don't want to carry the physical book with me, so I'll read it digitally. And then when I'm home, I'll just read the physical book. If that makes sense. And because of the library, I can actually get those other media without having to purchase all 3. And it's great and wonderful, and I like it. Ooh, my tummy is talking. It's getting close to that lunchtime. I can do a couple stairs at once. So I think I'm going to finish this stuff up around the stairs and then probably call it for today. next Sunday we might make it a longer stream. But for now, got some of this stuff going down this way that I want to get. There we go. Look at that. Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Naka. I'm just going to stick with Naka because it just makes me so excited to say. I don't know why. Say that 5 times fast. Naka, 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 naka. Now you know why I was singing the Macarena song because of that. Hey, Macarena. Wow. I need to go back to bed. Okay. So let's see if I can keep those from rolling down off of the page. So that is the piece so far. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And of course, I will be back next Sunday at 11 Central. Maybe by then I'll be used to daylight savings. Probably not, but yeah, who knows? And then we will probably be coloring more crystals. Try and getting as much done as possible. Hey, look, there's a toothbrush. Yes, I'm a little ADD right there. I don't know if you guys can see that. But anyways, I will be back next weekend, and I hope you guys can join me. I heart you beautiful faces. Bye.